Splendid. I'll take it.
He dreams about clothes, mostly.
Delighted to meet you. Super shirt, by the way.
When did he dream this?
Last night. Some of his dreams are prophetic, but mostly they're about clothes.
Prophetic as in, he can see into the future.
And the future of this video is going to be that we're going to make our prediction equations for this data with the candles. To start with, I'm going to make myself a time hat. It's going to be a sequence from 0 to 30. Give it a bunch of dots. And now the hard part. Let me explain how we do this part again. I'm going to start with all the output, and the parts I'm really interested in are these coefficients. And I'm going to take each one of these coefficients and put them in the front, because that's just tradition of how we write it. I'm going to put multiply between each coefficient and the term. I'm going to make it be a prediction for heat, because that's what we're trying to predict. I don't need this intercept term right there. I do need plus signs between all these different terms. These colons are supposed to be multiply. That's a special R command saying that it's only talking about the interaction and not the singular terms, but we need them to be back into multiply for the prediction equation. And on time, I'm going to put hat. Then I'm going to collapse this into one line. Why? Just because it looks nicer. Well, it turns out I think I couldn't fit it all in one line because it's too long, but 5 lines still looks better than like 20 lines. So here's my overall prediction equation. Let's split it into all the different equations based off the combination of candle and cotton. If I'm talking about beeswax and cotton, then I don't need paraffin, I don't need soy, zinc, paraffin, soy. Oh look, that was easy because it was the baseline. Let's try this one. Because it's paraffin and cotton, we're going to have only stuff that has cotton or paraffin. Cotton was our baseline, so it's only the paraffin stuff that's left over. This is telling us that we were with the paraffin category, so we simplify it like this. Now we can simplify these numbers for the paraffin candle. For the soy candle, what will we have left? Only the stuff with soy, which we can combine our intercept and slope. When we move to beeswax with zinc, it's different because the beeswax is the baseline, but zinc is not. So the terms that will be left are not going to have soy or paraffin, but they will have zinc. Again, we get the y-intercepts here, and there's a slope effect, there's a slope effect. How do I know they're slope effects? Because they're connected to time. So this guy and this guy are the slope pieces. Let's move to the category that's paraffin and zinc. Now we have 2 changes from the baseline. Both the wax and the wick have changed. So the stuff with soy is gone. And now when we talk about the intercept, here's an intercept piece. Here's another one. Notice there's no time. That's how I knew. What else? This doesn't have time, so there's a 3rd intercept piece. And right here is a 4th intercept piece specifically for the paraffin-zinc combination. So I can combine them into one intercept. Notice the pieces that are left. These are all slope pieces. Every one of them is connected to time. Either baseline, the paraffin effect, time for the zinc effect, and a special slope change for the paraffin-zinc combination. If we go to soy zinc, then this has changed the baseline to be soy and from the baseline cotton to be zinc. Anything with paraffin, though, is not going to be part of it, so I'm going to delete all those pieces. I know I'm going fast because I get to pause the video, but if you're confused, copy this big one up here and try to follow along and see if you can match what I've got. Just like before, there's going to be 4 pieces to making that intercept, namely the 4 pieces not connected to my x variable, which is time. And for the slope, a different set of pieces, each one connected to time, so I can simplify this equation. And here I've got my 6 different prediction equations. There was a different way I could do it, and I'm not saying which way is better. Pick the way that works for you. I could go back here to when I had this one prediction equation with paraffin as part of it, and I put hats at the end of each of these categories here, and put those hats up here. And if I do that, they need to be either 0 or 1, depending on which category I'm talking about. So this is another way to make those prediction equations from this. How do I draw the lines? I'm going to draw the data. I'm going to make my X hat. And then here's a heat for when it's beeswax and cotton. And then here's a heat for when it's paraffin cotton, all the way down so that I have my 6 different heat hats. And then I'm going to do lines, drawing. Oh no, I didn't actually run these. Hang on. There's our line for the first one. Second one, which is yellow, and I know that's hard to see, but we can do all the lines in different colors. And I want a legend on, oh, I don't like how it's covering it up. Okay, I'm going to size my picture out bigger. That way when I make my plot, that legend will show up a little smaller because it's the same size no matter how big you make this window. I want to show you the same graph, but this time we're going to use that one big equation with all the different hats. So I'm going to start by plotting it and go through it. And notice I want to start with the baseline. That's beeswax cotton. So paraffin, no. Soy, no. Zinc, no. No means we put a 0 in there. And then the heat, and we draw the line, we get the same thing. For the next one, I'm going to copy everything, but not the plot, because we're only wanting one plot here. And now let's change it. Instead of beeswax cotton, let's do paraffin cotton. So I'm going to turn paraffin on like that. Let's change my color to be this one. We did yellow last time, and I know that it doesn't show up that well, but it'll still help you understand. Boom, there's our yellow line. What are we going to do? Let's copy it again. This time, instead of paraffin, let's do soy. So we're going to turn on soy, run all these, and last time I colored it blue. There we go. Copy again. Beeswax, this time zinc. So I'm going to come down here to zinc, turn it on. Let's run all this. And the color that we gave zinc last time was green. The next one, we want paraffin zinc. So I'm going to turn paraffin on and zinc on. Let's run all this. That was colored purple. Now I want soy zinc. So let's turn soy on. Make sure paraffin's turned off with 0, zinc as 1, and that gives us our last line of orange. All I need now is to copy the same legend I had before. Oh, and we still have the same problems before. That's okay. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger and go all the way back up here, and there's each of those lines. It looks longer because we've copied and pasted the same bit of code over and over, but it gives us the same graph, and I didn't have to make more than one heat hat equation.